Hello, I'll be speaking on the topic, what role can Asian American youth play in this general election year? Less than a year ago, my hometown, Monterey Park, was the victim of a brutal and heartbreaking mass shooting. During the annual Lunar New Year festival, one of the most exciting events in my predominantly Chinese community, shattering gunfire broke out right next to the festival. Upon hearing the news, my mind instantly leapt to the conclusion that this was a hate crime, especially as the unwavering suspicion of the origins of COVID-19 continued to circle. Asian hate crimes were being reported non-stop all across the country at the time, leading to an ugly, perverse fear to rear its monstrous head. Much of the next 24 hours was filled with endless speculation, rumors, and fear. Days later, it was revealed that this mass shooting was the acts of a madman who sought revenge. It was only a coincidence to have happened near such a perilous time. Reflecting back on this incident showed that Asians continue to remain a minority in this nation. Being in a minority means that we can be more susceptible to threats of gun violence. When one takes a step back to look at our nationally elected officials, there are so few who look like how I do. This means decisions are often made without considering the minorities who don't have one to speak for them. This general election year, I urge my fellow Asian American peers into taking an advocacy role, pushing the elections to ensure our interests are being represented. Tufts College research shows that political campaign outreach has historically neglected Asian Americans. To combat this disadvantage, I suggest educating oneself about leading Asian American candidates and introducing them to family and friends. By spreading the word about these candidates and their campaigns, we can increase the representation we have in the community. Social media continues to remain the most active and responsive method of spreading the word. Asian American youth can create appealing brochures for their social media accounts to increase political campaign outreach. Next, student leaders in our community have already stood up to shoulder this responsibility. Student-led organizations such as the Alhambra Young Democrats and the Constitutional Rights Foundation offer quality information about current politics, rising politicians, and ways to be involved. Recently, Alhambra Young Democrats hosted an award ceremony that honored a past civic advocacy leader and current civic leaders. The Gloria Molina Awards connected aspiring students with faces in Asian politics all in one night. By joining these organizations and participating in their activities, Asian American youth are exposed to the political world and in turn able to help others understand our goal. The most important thing for Asian American youth to remember is that they are not alone. The Center for Information and Research in Civic Learning and Engagement conducted surveys that show 47% of Asian American youth are already involved in politics, one way or another. They also found that 30% of Asian American youth have attended marches or demonstrations about recent political issues. These numbers continue to grow, and Asian American youth can help by actively joining the political campaigns. More than 11 million voters are of Asian ethnicity, making up nearly 5% of the overall voter population. Of these 11 million voters, 33% are Asian Americans who have the capacity to increase Asian representation in politics. Despite the tragic incident in my community, I noticed more involvement as a byproduct of this tragedy. More of my classmates reposted incidents of gun violence and advocated for gun regulations on their social media accounts. Some of my friends are actively participating in politics by organizing kickoffs and leading marches. These have had positive feedback from and received immense support from the entire community. The youth of my generation have the talents to reach higher and farther than any other generation. Hence, I believe that Asian American youth have the capacity to advocate for greater Asian representation during this general election year. Thank you.